Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. Now we've let these 4570 cases tumble for a little while, and going to open them up, see what they look like, and see if we need to do anything more on the cleaning of the primer pockets. And if not, then we'll move on to the next step. Let's check it out. You'd think they'd make some kind of quick access hatch to get into these instead of... Still going to have to do some work on the primer pockets, but I don't know if these cases look that good inside and out when they came from the store. Tough nut stuff out. Wow, that's cool. That's just awesome the way those come out. Well, I'll go ahead and get the rest of these out of the tumbler, and then we'll get ready to clean out those primer pockets. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, I've got our 15 beautifully cleaned up 4570 government cases. I mean, these things look better than new. But the next step that we got to do to this is we're going to take this neat little tool right here. It's spring loaded, and when you push down on it, it turns itself to clean out the primer pocket. Now the primer pocket, as you can see, it's a little dark in there. You want to use a pick, a small pick, clean out the primer pocket hole. Off the top of my head, for some reason I cannot remember the exact definition of that, but now you can see inside of there. It's nice and clean, ready to go. We'll do every one of these that way. Stick this in there. And then we'll take our little pick, go down through the hole, make sure everything's good and clean in there. Oh yeah, clean. Every shot you make starts right here on this bench. And to be honest, if you're even hunting, every shot that you ever make on game should start right on this bench. It should be something that you pay a lot of attention to make sure that each round that you put in the chamber and intent to try to take a game animal with, that you're confident that you're going to get the best out of that round that you can. Best accuracy, best performance, best impact performance that you can get. That's very important. It's an art that is dying away, I'm afraid, because we live in a disposable society, and nobody has the time to do this kind of stuff, but we really ought to try to make time. Well, I'll get the rest of these done up, guys, and then we'll get ready to go on to the next stage. But just hang with us. Alright, the primers we're going to use to reprime this beautiful 4570 brass that we've got is Winchester large rifle primers. I'm going to reprime these with RCBS hand primer. I like using this because I can feel the primer going in a lot better, and we'll get it loaded up here and try to get a few primers put in. Now, to put the primers in the primer holder on this, you just pull the top off, lay it down on a flat surface, and we're only going to need about 15 because that's all the cases we got. If you shake this, I don't know how this works, I don't understand how it works, but it'll turn all of them the right way. So you just put the lid back on it, and then you turn this to where this, you can see a little gate in there. If you turn it here, it's open. You turn it here, it's closed. You want it to stay closed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and set up my hand primer with the proper shell holder for the 4570, and I'll be right back. Alright, now we've got her all put back together. I did actually put me just a touch of oil on the slide bar on this thing because it was wanting to stick just a little bit, but I think we got it back now to where we're ready to go. And now we're going to put our primer tray on here. Make sure you leave it turned off until you get it seated in there good where you want it. And then when you turn it on, primers will drop right down in there. Now we've picked up the primer. Things wanting to be a little cantankerous this morning for some reason. Alright, now we put us a case in there. That looks real good. It's just below plane. You want it just below the plane. You don't want to put your primer in too deep into the case, because if you do, then you could possibly cause yourself to have a light primer strike because your firing pin doesn't reach it. But just squeeze her down in there good, and you should feel it bottom out. That's great right there. Yep, looks real good. Looking real good. Going in no problem. But alright guys, I'll go ahead and finish these up so I won't be holding you up all day, and then we'll come back in a minute and discuss the next step. So get your reload manual, see what works, see what you should use, see what the manufacturer suggests, and you make your own decisions on that. I don't want any part of telling you what to do. And in any of this stuff, working on this ammunition, do what the manufacturer says. Don't go by what I say. I do what I do, you do what you do. But you guys can figure out your own powder measuring and putting powder in and doing that, all that stuff. All I'm just doing is showing the steps of what I do. But I'll get the die set up. I'll show you how to do that just in a second, and then we'll get to setting some case mouths, and we'll go from there. Alright, now our next step we're going to do is we're going to do the mouth flare. So we have to take our 4570 shell holder, put in there, and I like to put them to the side because it's a little easier to work around your handle and stuff if you got to get in and manipulate the case or anything. Okay, so what I've done, I've put my shell holder in, and I have a case sitting in it. I'm going to run the shell holder up with a case in it all the way up, put my ram all the way up. I'm going to screw this down until I hit the case. You'll feel it hit the case. Okay, right there I'm against the case. I'm just touching the case. So I know I'm not going to have any flare on it yet, because all I've done is just run the die up till it's touching the case. So now what I want to do is I want to turn this down about 1/3 of a turn, and I'm going to go back up into it, and I'm going to pull my case out and see what kind of flare I've got. I don't really have any much at all, so I'm going to turn it a little bit more. I'm going to get a bullet out here. Get my bullets out of the handy dandy nightcrawler case. And I'm going to check it against a bullet. It's almost where I want it. The bullet will sit in there, but I want it to go down just a bit further. So I'm going to turn it about 1/3 of a turn again. All the way up. Take my case out so it's a little bit easier. Now we're getting somewhere. Now you can see I'm coming just almost to the top of that first driving band when I set the bullet in there. That's enough. You don't need a big blunderbuss thing to where the whole bullet will drop down in there, because then all you're doing is just overworking your brass. You just want this to go in there just enough to where after you drop the boom powder in there, that that case will sit on there pretty straight and it won't come out, won't fall out, and then you can seat your bullet. So that's all we need to do. So now I've got that the way I want it. I've got it set exactly the way I want it. I'm going to hold the die so it won't move. And I'm going to tighten down my retaining ring so that my die will stay in place. Alright, so now that's one. Get them pulled over here so we know which ones we've done. I'll stick the next one in. And after doing these for just a couple of them, I'll take them out and I'll check them. Okay. Oh yes, that's just perfect. You couldn't have asked for a better set for that bullet to go in. Those are going to be wonderful. That's going to work just right. Check this one. Good. Just right. I did not measure all these cases because I know they're not going to be stretched out too long to go in the chamber. But you got to be careful. Sometimes you get difference in case length. I'll do a couple more of these for you guys, and that way you can get on with your day and I ain't holding you up too much. That sure does sit in there good. I like the way that's doing. Okay guys, I almost forgot I wanted to show you something. 9 of these cases are Hornady. 6 of these cases are Winchester. There's a big difference. Let me show you the difference here in the lengths of these cases. Get my meter zeroed out. This is a Hornady case. That's 2.043. I hope you can see that. Now let's get a Winchester case. That one was 2.043 is what the Hornady was. The Winchester case is 2.103. That's 6 thousandths difference. So what would happen if we leave this set to what we've got for the Hornady cases? When I push the case up into the mouth iron die, it's going to make a big blunderbuss. It's going to roll the outside, the mouth of the case way out, and it's going to make it hard, if not impossible, for you to straighten that back out. Even if putting it in a resizer, it's probably going to be pretty difficult to do it. You might be able to, but depends on how big the blunderbuss is. If it gets outside the size of that carbide ring, it's just not going to go through there. So now what I got to do is I got to back up my mouth flaring die. I got to take one of these Winchester cases. Okay, and I'm going to set in here. I'm just going to start it up in there. Okay, so I'm going to screw my die all the way back so that I'm not touching anything, and now I've got the ram all the way up with the case in it. I'm going to screw my die down till I just make contact with the top of the case. I'm going to lower my ram a little bit, and I'm going to just turn this about 1/3 of a turn, and I'm going to push down, and I'm going to take it out and see what I've got. Nope, need to go a little bit more. Get us another one out there. Make sure we fit. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, I don't understand why Hornady cases are so much shorter, but they are. And then any other case you get star lines, same thing. Hornady's shorter than them. So you have to watch for that. Most time in these big calibers, you don't really have to worry about sorting your brass, but now when it comes to these 4570s, Hornady will give you a problem if you don't watch what you're doing. Don't pay attention to it. Alright, that's got them. Now I want to show you what happens when you don't notice it. Can you see that? I hope. I blunderbust that baby. I mean, I really did. But I think I can straighten it back out with my full-length resizing die. We're going to try it anyway and see what happens. Look at that. Ha ha, straighten that baby right out. Hey, there we go. And that's the last one, guys. Made a real good lip on it. Gets that first driving band down in there, and that's all. That's what we want. That's what we was looking for. That gives us the best chance of getting a good straight bullet started in there and not shaving any lead off and not having any issues. But guys, like I said, remember, make sure you look at your brass. Hornady brass will cause you a problem, because if you set your dies up when you're doing this stuff with Hornady brass, and you've got Winchester, or you've got Remington, or you've got Federal, any of the others mixed in, when you put one of those in your die and you bring that ram up, then you've got significant length difference. So you're probably going to have an issue, and hopefully you'll feel it and don't just keep going, because you can end up with a crush case or a split case. It's very well possible. But guys, that's got these ready for the next process, which will be putting the bullet in, and we'll get to that in the next video. This is the Fat Man. Appreciate y'all watching. I'm gone. Hey guys, if you liked the video, hit subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell so you get notifications the next time we put out a video. Appreciate you. It's the Fat Man. I'm gone.